If you had to describe yourself to the people, how would you describe yourself?
Are you saying on one of those names or just a description in general?
As a person, today, I think a lot of people have a misconception of who they think you are from things they may have heard. What's the reality of who you are today?
Well, if they speaking from 30 years ago, then it might be right. If they speaking from today, then it's best that they get to know me as Abdul Haqq, you know, because the Durk of back then is not the Durk of now. Even though the Durk of back then has made me who I am today as Abdul Haqq, it's not the same person. So I would prefer that they get to know me as Abdul Haqq, the Muslim, the brother who's seeking the righteous path in life, who's staying up on the Siratul Mustaqim, which is the straight path, worshiping Allah and the religion of Islam. That's the person that you should get to know. That's the person I am. That's what I represent. You know, this is a way of life for us as being a Muslim. So it's stitched in every walk of life for me. It's everything that I do from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep. I try to represent Islam and the characteristics of Islam. So yeah, just get to know Abdul Haqq.
So some people, you know, we know the part of you being LilDurk's father, but you have other children. How many children do you have?
In total, I got 5 children, 2 boys and 3 girls.
Okay. And those girls, how's everything with them?
Oh,
are they in the entertainment world or how?
No, they live in productive lives as regular citizens, you know, working jobs, you know, married, just getting along everyday life, you know, what life entails for a person to get along with. Not nothing extraordinary like my son, just a regular life.
Right. And they fine with that.
Oh, yeah. They productive in the careers and the fields that they in. They productive in there. All my children, alhamdulillah, is doing good out there.
What about your grandchildren? How many do you have? And what's your relationship with them?
I have 10 grandchildren. Beautiful relationship with them. I stay in contact with them. You know, that was one of my main goals. My grandchildren, when I got out, is to build a relationship with them. So that's what I've been doing. You know, grandchildren is what they are. You know, they bad, super bad. But you know, that's what they are. You know, you got to love them. You know,
right. So I noticed you really spend a lot of time with your family. Like you very intentional about spending time with your grandchildren, going to pick them up. They come spend the night. Like, where does that come from?
That come from growing up the way I growed up. You know, I didn't have that type of family environment. So I never even wanted that for my children. I wanted to be a part of their life. And then, you know, as they continue to grow, I wanted to be a part of the grandchildren's life. But, you know, since that didn't happen, one thing, the prison and that time that I did teach me the importance and the value of family. So, you know, that's the one riches of the world that every man, every woman, every human should grab on to is the value of family, because family is where it's at. You know, that's your bloodline. That's what's going to represent you from generation to generations. So, you know, everybody who's a Banks, you know, we try to instill in them that type of what you would call pride, not the sinful type of pride that make a person think he's better than somebody else, but pride about who you are and what your bloodline is. So we always try to instill the Banks, you know, keep your head up, you know, do something with your life, you know, go out there and be a better person, you know, for every generation to be better than the last Banks that came before you.
We just watched your son get engaged. What's your thoughts with that? What's your thoughts when you seen that happen?
That was a beautiful thing. I've been pushing for that from day one. You know, as a Muslim, we try to make sure that the first steps in a relationship is marriage, you know. So, you know, he being a Muslim, you know, his wife being a Hebrew Israelite, so they know the importance of marriage, so they want to take that next step as to getting married. You know, and that's a beautiful thing. They love one another, and we just hope and pray for the best for them from this point on, that, you know, they continue to come together with this strong love and this bond that they have and continue to flourish with that.
We just watched your son get engaged. What's your thoughts with that? What's your thoughts when you seen that happen?
That was a beautiful thing. I've been pushing for that from day one. You know, as a Muslim, we try to make sure that the first steps in a relationship is marriage, you know. So, you know, he being a Muslim, you know, his wife being a Hebrew Israelite, so they know the importance of marriage, so they want to take that next step as to getting married, you know, and that's a beautiful thing. They love one another, and we just hope and pray for the best for them from this point on, that, you know, they continue to come together with this strong love and this bond that they have and continue to flourish with that.
Do you have a relationship with India?
Yeah, I mean, we get along beautifully, you know.
So that was a good, you believe that was a great choice for your son, right?
Yeah. I let my children choose who they want to be with. If that's who they want to be with, that's who they love, then I'm going to support that. You know, I'm not going to stand in between that. You know, I don't have no say so in the matter one way or the other. You know, I just want to make sure that everyone is happy.
Right. But being an older man and that being your son, we could recognize qualities in the young lady, and you see marriage qualities in her. Obviously, and did your son actually call you and ask you for like any advice at all?
My son is really like, I'm very proud of him because he's like on point. He's very intelligent. He's very smart. He got like what you call old man wisdom when it comes to certain things, you know. So he always seek advice, and that's what I love about him. He always asks questions. If it's something he's stuck on, he don't have no problem with seeking out the answer, you know. So he don't have to ask certain things. As a father, if I see something coming up, I'm going to go ahead and put my advice to it automatically. So, you know.
Mm-hmm. He just actually did an interview. Did you get a chance to check out the interview he did with Wallow and Gilly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
What did you think about the interview?
I think they did an amazing job. You know, I liked the interview. I like the creativeness about the environment they was in. You know, everything how it was all set up. You know, it was a good interview.
You didn't. I noticed he brought $1 million to his interview. I don't, you know, is it 10,000, 100,000 you could put on the table? You didn't bring nothing to the interview.
No,
I thought you was gonna come with $1 million for the interview.
No, you know, that's the way here. That's why I told you, very smart, man. You go to $1 million worth of game, you bring $1 million. I mean, that was a beautiful thing.
I should have called this $100,000. The position that he's in after doing 25 years, you doing 26 years is real similar. And me doing 8 years in prison. It's just something when you start to reach back to these young brothers and try to give back. It's an emotional spot that you recognize that some of the guys gonna get it and some won't. And you can fall into a place of being emotional and shed those tears behind that. When you seen that, what did that affect you in a way of like what did you think when Wallow was telling that story about his brother dying?
Well, that's a touchy situation, you know, because we all got that experience in life. And as he was relating it to my son, he was trying to be related to on his brother's incident to make him see a little better light in the situation. And, you know, coming out the prison system after all these years, that's our job, is to inspire our youngsters, inspire the youngsters, inspire this generation with our examples and our mistakes and give them the motivation to move forward in a positive, productive way. That's what we supposed to do. That's what all the guys supposed to do when they get out of jail. Try to enlighten the younger generation with the mistakes and the things that they did that was wrong in life and said, don't go down that road. If you can find within yourself some redemption, you can find in yourself some forgiveness and move forward in life, then go ahead and forgive and move forward. Don't let that be a holding block, because some people can get attached to that grief. Some people can get attached to revenge. Some people can get attached to seeking out, you know, other means and doing it in other ways, but don't get attached to those things. Just try to move forward with your life, forgive, and move forward and build with what you got right now. You know, it was very emotional, and I really applaud the brother for giving that testimony that he gave. And I thank him for giving that testimony to my son. And hopefully that what he said will resonate on him and he'll get a chance to think about it. And because he's still grieving. He's grieving real, this is a hard time for our family. Booney was his D thing. He was very, very, he was a good kid, man. He was a lively son, so it's hurting us very hard to deal with this. So any advice that one can give during these grieving times is a helpful advice to us as a whole, the family as a whole.